really don't want to really make any more changes than I have to. But if it burns down more than 60%, the only question that I have is the property value is $71,000. To be honest with you, you cannot build a store. The cooler by itself, if the cooler burns down, it's $28,000. You start constructing, that's 30 grand, boom, done. 60%, it's gonna be gone from the first day. My thing is I want my store to be the same, and that's all I'm asking for the board, nothing else. Not asking for expansion, not asking for nothing else.
Okay, thank you very much. And you finished? Move on. Any questions or comments?
Well, my comment, I mean, it's not the, I like the fact you want to keep the store the way it is now, but my comment is if you change it to a town center, I mean, would it allow a different use if you had to give it up somehow? I mean,
it would, but it would also allow different uses as it's currently zoned. It's just, in order for it to, if something happened to it, in order for it to remain a gas station, it would have to be zoned TC.
yeah, no. I mean, I understand he wants to protect his investment because he's going to buy it instead of leasing it, and that's great. I like that. But my only question is, there's two other uses that are not allowed in NMX that are allowed in town center. And that's the only part that I'm concerned about. You know, the fact that they could put a bar there or an ABC store.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't plan on it. I don't think he will. But I mean, is there anything we can do to prevent that? Is what my gist.
I don't believe so. This is a straight rezoning. There's no conditions can be applied to it. I will say about those two uses, anything that would be built on the site would have to meet the standards of the code architecturally, everything to do with the site, whether it be just a general retail store, whether it be single-family homes, townhomes, it would have to meet all the standards of the code.
Okay.
Questions, comments? Brenda?
So with the changes, this will meet the downtown code's use as to moving forward?
It will still be legally non-conforming, but if anything were to happen or if they wanted to expand, they would have the option of getting a conditional use permit to make those changes or to rebuild. But it was
That's with the change.
that's with the change in zoning. If the zoning was not changed, they would not have the option to expand or rebuild.
Can I do one more thing? I like what he wants to do, and I think we should approve what he wants to do. But I know we can't do it right now, but how do we get the ABC store or the lounge to be a CUP, a conditional use permit,
That would
rather than automatically allowed?
That would require a text amendment.
Can we do that now?
It wasn't advertised, but if the board would like to initiate that text amendment, we could put it on the next agenda to initiate a text amendment.
I don't want to hold them up. I mean, are you going to buy it shortly?
So
Yes.
if we approve this, for him to do this, we can put forth for that text amendment to be on next month's meeting on the agenda regarding the
I
lounge.
think you have to make a request to the town board that a text amendment be issued.
Okay, so we can make that request that it be initiated.
Could we do that just for one property?
The text amendment wouldn't be for one property, it would be for, to require a conditional use permit for those two uses in the TC district.
So we're making a motion for the text amendment now? We're making a motion?
We have to make
No.
Okay, so it's not, okay, fine. So,
Basically,
wait,
we're
Brenda, you
saying
said?
if we approve it and then ask for text amendment, we're looking at a 2-month window where conceivably he could build anything in TC and he's,
Well, I have someone that signed up for a public comment as well. Terry, you make a comment?
When the downtown, when the form-based code came in, the street I live on, it had been recommended in the downtown vision plan that it be UE. And we were told at the time, because what they ended up doing was putting neighborhood mixed use on one side, an urban neighborhood on the other side. But we were told there should be a buffer between town center and urban neighborhood. And so by changing this zoning, you're now going to have town center that's right out to urban neighborhood. So I question that. And also I question not only the uses, but the size of the buildings that can be built in town center. I think you need to look at that because I believe that that might be different than Main Street, the size of the buildings. So I just ask you to consider those facts when you're considering that.
Can I give a comment? Came in late and didn't get to sign this form.
Sure.
My name is Gay Dillon, and I live downtown also. And I just want to tack on to what Terry said, because I agree with that as a resident in residential section. NMX is a good buffer between some pretty overscaled stuff and a house. So also, help me understand how this is not spot zoning. This isn't spot zoning, is it, or is it?
Staff doesn't believe that it is spot zoning, because it calls for up to that intensity of use in the draft of the future land use map, and and the block length, it takes up an entire block. It's not one single property within.
It really seems like spot zoning to me, and that is it can be a mistake when you're not thinking carefully about all the different things that it could be and what's around it, and all the different things that could be allowed to be there.
But then we can after we were there.
Max, can you put the current zoning map?
Yes. This is the current zone.
What's TC, the dark?
Which one's the TC, the darker ones?
Yeah, the dark ones up here are TC, and these are Main Street, the lighter. And then these brighter blues are NMX.
So his property is right near where the TC is already.
This is actually Main Street here. TC is only on Broome Street currently.
Maybe you need to clarify for Brian and myself, are there two kind of,
Because
there's like
I
a
see
shade
the
of
gray
green and a
shaded
shade of gray
areas.
there, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
There's two shades.
Yeah.
The dark one is TC, and the lighter shade of gray, well, what appears to be gray, is MS, Main Street, and then the bright blue is NMX. And the duller blue is UN.
When you say it takes up a whole block, how did,
Currently, there's two open streets, and there's South Main Street, and this is Broad Street, and to the south side and east side, there are unopened right-of-ways. They're not currently open as streets, but they are designated as right-of-way.
Max, what's the parcel that's between the Main Street and where you're doing?
That's actually OS, open space. That's David G. Barnes Park. And it also takes up part of the right-of-way, which is like legally non-conforming.
What would be the height restriction for a multi-family dwelling in TC?
Or in TC, the maximum height is 45 feet, or 3 stories, and in NMX, the maximum height is 45 feet or 3 stories, so the same. both the NMX and TC districts allow for the same. It does, yeah, the TC district does allow for larger development than the square footage wise than
But I'd still have to come to the planning board and
Yes.
plan out everything to make sure that's all by code, the way Waxhaw needs.
If you were not going to build a gas station,
Well,
it would.
Even if I did build a gas station, the way I was explained, I thought that I would still have to come to the planning board to make sure everything
Yes.
is by code of what town of Waxhaw needs it to be.
Yes, if you did build a gas station, you would have
I
to.
mean, if it burns down tomorrow, more than 60%, which I said, I explained to you that if it burns, it's gonna be more than 60%.
Yeah.
So I still have to come to the planning board to make sure it's built in the right way that the town of Waxhaw needs it to be, so the downtown district will not be. I love what Waxhaw did for years, and I've seen it change. Again, been here since 1990, seen it from nothing to something. So I'm all for it, and I'm all forward to doing everything that is required. I'm just saying, I still have to come to the planning board to make sure I have to get every single building code, to the way you want to build and everything correct in the right way, if I'm correct.
Yes, for a gas station.
Yes.
If it was retail or another use, that would be.
That'd be a different story.
That would be administrative.
Yes, that'd be a different story.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. Concern isn't necessarily you, it's what could happen subsequent to you. That's what everybody's talking about. So why can't we, what's the issue with keeping it NMX? Then he can't rebuild if it gets destroyed, right? So how do we leave it NMX but allow him to rebuild if it gets destroyed by over 60%?
There would have to be an application for a text amendment to allow for gas stations in the NMX district.
And that presents different issues.
That presents many other issues.
Well, it's currently under a CUP, right, which,
Yes, to build a gas station, it would.
either way, it's under that. Is there a way to amend his conditional use permit to allow it to be rebuilt if it's,
Well, it's a rezoning. This is for rezoning.
I know, I'm talking about a different way to approach this. to
Right.
Accomplish his goal and to.
Right. We want,
Yeah,
we're good, we're
Right.
fine, we're just trying to figure out.
If I'm understanding correctly, your main issue is that you want to be able to rebuild.
The same thing.
More than 60% of it's destroyed.
yes.
And the other way to allow that would be to do a text amendment to allow gas stations in the NMX district, and you could have an option, allow it as a conditional use permit. But that opens up the conversation for other issues.
You can
What if-
amend the CUP to allow use that's not allowed in the underlying zone.
Right, but why couldn't you have a text amendment that, all right, so NMX doesn't allow gas stations now, right? So why can't you have a text amendment that says, for gas stations that are currently in NMX already, that they are permitted to rebuild if they have damage over 60%?
That affects another section, the legally non-conforming section of the ordinance.
Okay, well, I'm trying.
I appreciate it.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. This is just,
I know.
there's issues any way you go.
Right. Great.
Is there any other rezoning that this property can be zoned to besides TC in order for him to accomplish his goal?
Not within the downtown code.
Not within the downtown.
Previously, I believe it was zoned C4. Which I haven't looked, but I believe it may allow for gas stations, but there's no other.
What's the largest square footage he can build in NMX? It's currently zoned compared to, is it 25,000 square feet under TC? Is that what I'm reading here?
Yes.
Or there actually, there's uses
There,
there.
yeah, you'd have to look into something in the regulations and.
What's his?
Forgive me, but I wasn't prepared for the square footage question.
We can't say to
But in, general commercial in the NMX district, largest allows 10,000 square feet. And in TC district, it allows for 25,000 square feet, and it goes on. Or,
Greater than 25,000 with supplemental regulations.
yeah.
So if it gets, I have one question. Last question.
Okay.
We rezoned it to town center, right? And we got a new comp plan, does those new things do anything to protect this from happening again and/or what's the words I'm looking for? The NMX districts? I know what I'm trying to ask.
Yes, I'm not sure that we're to that level of detail with the new UDO to make any determinations on what type of uses will be allowed or what the regulations regarding certain uses will be.
Okay. All right, well,
I just have one more question. Could you clarify why this wouldn't be spot zoning?
Yes, we decided it would not be spot zoning because the intensity of TC is called for in the draft of the future land use growth sectors map, and that it takes up an entire block rather than one parcel within a block.
all right, well, we can't sit here. Do I hear a favorable or unfavorable motion from anyone on the board?
I'd make a motion to deny the request, simply because I'm not comfortable with the potential uses of the TC zoning district. And I appreciate it.
I understand.
There's just potential there for what's there now to be completely different than what we intended or what it is today. It could be a building 2.5 times the size of what it is today.
Okay, do I hear a second for an unfavorable motion?
I think you're a great business, you've been in the community a long time, I'm just concerned about the
I
future.
understand. I mean,
Done properly.
it's just when
And
likelihood
you
of
could
burning
continue
it
to
down.
operate just as you've been under the
I
current
mean,
zoning.
likelihood of burning it down, it's gonna be, you don't know, but at the same time, I've been there for a long time and I don't wanna just keep the same business there. That's just.
Nothing prevents you from doing that, so.
Okay, all those who agree with the unfavorable motion, raise your hand, aye. Motion does not carry. So now,
Now we move on to the next case.
we don't ask, okay?
We could, sorry, we could, yeah, she's right.
Okay,
Well, no. Okay.
right.
Sorry.
So now, right, so I would ask, does anyone make a motion for a favorable decision?
Well, before I make the motion, can I couple that motion with a request for changing the CPU for the two uses on the town center, for the bar and for the ABC store?
Chris?
They would have to be separate, because this is a general use zoning. You can't put conditions of any type more general use zoning, so they would have, you can make the recommendation to approve the rezoning, and then you can make that motion to ask for the text amendment. But they have to be done in separate motions.
I can't make it conditional,
Can't make a condition.
because, I mean, then I have no problem with that. But we have to be comfortable saying that we can approve his, and then make the second thing being a request that they put CPU requirements on town center, to.
Right, so we would vote and then we would make a formal request for a text, future text, okay, for, but not,
And who knows whether, I don't think the formal, the positive, favorable, I don't think is gonna pass anyway. Well, then it's three of them.
okay. Do we have a favorable motion?
I make a favorable motion for the request.
Do I hear a second? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Motion carried.
Yeah, now, yeah, can I make the formal request to change the downtown code, town center? Change the section 4 under the ABC store and under the lounge bar to CPU as opposed to a permitted use.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about done with that. Do I hear a second? Second made. All in favor of, as Bob just said, raise your hand and say aye.
I just want to
It was
get,
kind of long.
if I can ask a question, I just want to get a better, explain it to me again, because I don't even think you're clear on what he just motioned.
Oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay.
I can't repeat it.
My
but-
motion is for, in the downtown code, a formal request for the zoning, are you guys the zoning department? Who are you asking to look in?
Development services.
Yeah, for development services to change the downtown code for the uses under town center, under 21.3.1.d, commercial/entertainment, the uses of an ABC store and the uses of a lounge to be changed from permitted use under town center to a conditional use permit under town center. And that's what I'm requesting from the development.
All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Also carried. Okay. Moving on to the third petition. Petition RZ 004-310-2016, which is a request by the Town of Waxhaw Development Services Department on behalf of the Town of Waxhaw Board of Commissioners for a rezoning map amendment on approximately 15.5 acres, parcel 6-165-001 and 06-165-001C, located on the east side of Waxhaw Marvin Road, south of the intersection with Prescott Glen Park. The proposed zoning for the parcels is R4, single-family residential. Staff?
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. This is the initial zoning request for the property that was just described on Waxhaw Marvin Road. This property is currently located in Union County, and the applicant is asking that it be annexed into the town, and as a concurrent process, we put the initial zoning on it. Okay. Property can be seen here on the overhead. There's two parcels within the green area. This is the future phase of Millbridge. This is the existing Prescott neighborhood, and this is Pine Oak Road coming here, and then Waxhaw Harbor. And for further clarification, so people, this is the red barn that you see on the right-hand side of the road. Future land use map shows this as a combination, current future land use map shows this as a mix of medium density residential and low density residential. The growth sectors map shows this basically to be in the intended growth section in the purple. So it is intended to be developed and can be due to the fact that there are utilities available and there's access, readily available access to Waxhaw Marvin Road. This is the area, this is the map here. As you can see, Millbridge is here. That is CD R4 PRD. The property to the north is CU R3 PRD. That's Prescott. This is the property on the corner here. And then this is in the county still, but it's all within the intended growth sector section of the growth sector's map. The properties are developed with 2 single-family residences and a horse farm. The surrounding area consists of wooded land, single-family residences on individual properties and the Millbridge and Prescott neighborhood. Some of the surrounding properties are located in Union County, zoned RH20, which is rural and agricultural. The adjacent properties located within the town of Waxhaw are CU, R3 PRD, which is conditional use, R3 planned residential development, and CD, R4 PRD, which is conditional district, R4 PRD. The draft growth sector map contained in the proposed comprehensive plan allows for up to T6 urban core zone transect zone, which would allow medium to high density mixed residential buildings, entertainment, civic, and cultural uses. The R4 single family residential zoning district is in keeping with the T4 general urban zone transect zone allowed by the draft of the updated growth sector map. Staff recommends approval of the proposed R4 zoning for RZ 004310-2016 based on the draft growth sector map included with the draft of the proposed comprehensive plan. The R4 district is compatible with the future land use and planning goals of the town of Waxhaw. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. The applicant is also here.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, so the applicant indicated it's going to be developing age-targeted housing.
Yes, that's what I've been told.
Correct. What's the difference in terms of number of houses between R3 or R4?
R4, in a general use R4, the minimum lot size is 12,000 square feet. And so what you would do is take the gross acres, divide by 12,000, and come up with the number of lots. You would do the same thing in R3. The minimum lot size in R3 is 20,000 square feet, so that would be the difference. And then there is a question of whether they would like to come back at a later time and do a planned residential district. But no matter whether it's done in under PRD, your lot yield in both the R3 and the R4 are going to be calculated based on 20,000 square feet and 12,000 square feet respectively.
Dave? Okay.
The term age targeted has come up in a number of our previous meetings. Can you or the developer maybe kind of clarify to me what's the difference between age targeted and age restricted?
I can speak to that. Age targeted is exactly that, where you target it toward 55 and over. Okay. Age restricted is like the sunset, where it's actually you have to be 55 and over, or whatever that bottom age limit is. So these would be age targeted. They would be targeted toward the 55 and over, but they would be allowed to be sold to any age.
Any other question, comments? Good. Okay, so do I hear a favorable or unfavorable motion from the board?
I move for a favorable recommendation for RZ 004310-2016.
Do we hear a second? I can second, can I? I second the motion. So we will, I guess, whoever, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. 3 to 5. Did you vote yes, Brett?
I'm thinking.
Oh,
Where's this property located again? It's right by Prescott? Is it the gated
Yes.
where the barn and the horse farm
Yes,
used to
ma'am.
be?
It's where the red
And-
barn is.
And the house is there, and then there's another house that sits a little further back?
Correct. And
Okay.
these properties consist of one with the red barn on it and the house that's closer to the road. If you were going north on Waxhaw Market, just before you get to the first entrance of Prescott,
Right,
this
right
would be
there
on
on
the
the
right.
on the right-hand side.
Sure.
And they want to build age targeted,
Yes, ma'am.
single-family homes?
Yes, ma'am. That would be single family.
Okay.
yes or no?
Yes.
All right, motion carries 4-0. Okay. Moving on to other.
And I'd like to get a reason for your no.
I don't feel we have the infrastructure currently in place, mainly roads and schools, to continue to support additional R4 high-density residential zoning beyond what has already been previously approved in Waxhaw.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to other business. Lisa, do you want to make any comments on the update on the work plan?
Okay, on April 12th, your chairman presented to the town board your work plan. And it was just like last you saw it, I told you your email the work plan. So far, the town board hasn't set a date to vote on these work plans, so as soon as they do, I'll give an update at the next meeting.
Okay, were there any updates on previous cases?
There were, on April 12th, the downtown Cove Street section variability was approved. The Mama Lena's addition and revised CUP was approved. Going on April 26th is going to be the fast food text amendment that reduces the distance requirements to residential. Hen mini storage is going, and then the PRD text amendment is going.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving on for the minutes for correction approval. Does anybody have any corrections or approval? Anybody? I have one. On page 5, on the third paragraph, where it says that I stated I was in favor of the proposed development, which is true. But then it was written that I was concerned about possible future development throughout the town. I don't feel that's what I said. What I said was I was concerned about the unintended consequences if we prove that specific. What was it, text amendment, right? So can I make a motion to approve minutes with that change? Yes. Okay. Well, I make a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, okay. And someone make a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
He's out of town. Yeah.
It's got figure out what it was.
Oh,